Welcome back to the Overland
Oh,
Bonfire.
are we on?
Brought to you
This is.
by,
Are we doing hard storage? Is that the?
Oh, yeah, we can.
brought to you by Blue Ridge Overland Gear.
So, hey, you guys know we geek out on soft storage because we build it and we like when you buy it. But we do enjoy some hard storage. Matt and I, Logan, sorry, sore subject, are fans of the Nook cases.
Yeah.
Logan tried to get one for a Christmas present.
Yeah, I had one ordered. It was from eBay. My wife got it for me, and it just never showed up, and so eBay refunded. So, yeah,
Such a bummer.
yeah.
You know, we've talked about like the Dometic boxes that we used to keep. I think we've got like a short YouTube video about those. I have went down. So I picked up a Zarges case from Gobi Recon, doing some trading. Liked it so much, bought another one on a show special, and probably will get one more to kind of like get the everything outfitted that way. Because we can dive more into this. I know they're expensive, but man, like they are tough, and you can tell like you can hand these things down. Like, plus I like stuff that just looks better with use, and they're pretty deep in that camp. And then we've got some ideas about like what to avoid in hard storage. I at least have some pretty strong feelings about what some terrible options.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's
interested,
talk about what we like in hard storage.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Because I think I know what yours is.
Yeah. So one of my requirements is straight sides. I know there's some options out there that people like that are like have like tapered sides, but for me, I hate having like
the action packers.
like action packers. I've got a couple still because they're more for just like random crap in the basement. Some of those the Plano boxes, the Sportsman, they are pretty handy for like
Is that the yellow top things?
No, these are the like dark green. Yeah, usually find them in like sporting goods stores.
Okay.
So they're
they're
latches on the
lids.
end,
Yeah.
and then they have the thing that I like is they have like anchor points on each end,
Yeah,
like a
so you
place
can
you can
strap
run
it
a
down.
strap down.
Yeah, bungee cord them down.
They do not have straight walls. I would not like those in the vehicle for camping gear. You know, like things in and out. That's more long term storage for me. And I think I've probably had picked up a few of those long before I had realized how much that sucks. Yeah, no, that I want things that are stackable, and I want it to be like securely stackable. Like Logan and I were getting some stuff out the other day, and I literally have my Zarges kitchen box on top of the shorter one that has air tools, jumper cables, all that. And I like being able to throw a strap over it and anchoring it down on the bed slide and knowing it's not going to topple over.
Those ones are pretty secure.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised how much
The
they
feet
really
are,
go in.
Probably maybe not quite a half inch, like up into the bottom of the next case. So as long as you've got them like tied down pretty decently, they're not going to slip off.
They don't jump off each other.
Yeah. And that's even with a goose gear deck plate on top of one of them. Like it still is pretty dang secure. So,
Still hooks in there good.
yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I had one of those and I sold it, and I have not
I saw a huge
revisited
one.
that. But I use the drawers. I don't know.
Yeah, you've got your drawers. Yeah.
I travel with hard storage a lot, like via plane if I'm flying.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty prone to run in my hard storage boxes when I fly.
yeah. I know
and-
we're not going to know these numbers off the top of our heads, but you and I have the same Nanook case that the tour duffel fits inside of.
So that is a 938 case.
Okay.
And the 935 case is the smaller one that is carry-onable.
Right. So that's the one. That's my dark green one. That it's like
Yes.
outside of like tiny planes, it's actually they will let you take it on.
I mean, they'll let you typically roll it to the small
Yeah.
plane
Oh,
too.
man.
Yeah.
I may have to buy this, so it may not be available by the time that people watch this podcast. There is a 46 by 30 by 20 Zarges case for $150 on Marketplace right now. One more time, 46 by 30 by 20.
That's huge.
Yeah,
That is huge.
It was $200 the other day. It's come down $50. The lid has some love. It even has like the reinforcements. It's so big that the lid has like the reinforcements on it.
Huh.
I don't even know. Just
Where's it at?
Manassas. Yeah.
Oh,
Man, what are you guys doing later?
I wonder if you can get them off of DRMO.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
I don't know.
Or something comparable.
I don't
Yeah.
know if there's a government. I don't know if there's a government use for some of that stuff that you might see in you might see there. Anyway, so straight walls are your win.
Yeah. Also, like some
Stackable.
sort of like internal dividers.
Stackable.
Yeah, stackable. And I'll admit mine are DIY. Like it's just corrugated plastic, and I've got literally heavy duty paper clips bent to keep like in our kitchen box one.
Yeah,
You know, to
clothes
keep-
hangers work.
Yeah.
You bent some clothes hangers and just used corrugated plastic before.
Yeah.
That works pretty good.
Andy, our good buddy Andy, told me like if you really want to make that work, you put a dab of hot glue on the end of the clothes hanger, shove it down in there, and then while it's still liquidy, and then it's keeps them from rattling out. So I think once I figure out 100% like I've got mine locked in, I will do something like that. So, and then for me, a big fan. I used to be a big fan of the front runner boxes because they stack really well. They actually fit in my Tacoma bed perfectly, like a 2x2 grid between the fender wells. But man, the lids just like started giving up all the latches just left and right. So
yeah, I've never been a front runner box fan. I know a lot of people like them and use them. It's just not my thing. My problem is that typically if I want hard storage, it needs to be able to live outside.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the back of the truck or whether it's on
Right.
the roof of something, like that hard storage case is not, because I'm not going to use, I don't typically use hard storage inside. I'm either going to build shelf drawer,
yeah.
cubby, and then I'm going to fill that with soft storage.
Yeah.
Or it's going to live outside,
Yeah.
or like I said, it's going to fly, and I'm just looking
So
to.
the reason mine lives
protect it.
inside is one of them is in there full time with jumper cables, air tools.
Yeah.
And I want to be tough enough that I can throw crap in on top of it. And then the kitchen box, like Logan and I worked on a video this week that was like, I like for it to be able to come out, set in camp, use it as another surface, like it's almost like a small table.
Yeah.
stuff like
You
that.
actually have that cutting board that fits on it, which is
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, where if I wanted to, I literally could not even take a table. If you're like, Helinox chair height, that case makes a pretty decent little table for dinner. So yeah.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. The kitchen box thing makes a lot of sense to me as far as using the Zarge cases for something like that. I don't know that like the Nano cases wouldn't be my thing there, but the thing about the Nano cases, like they're probably honestly not as durable as a Pelican long term. If you're really killing them,
You think so?
yeah, I think probably they don't hold up quite as well.
The latches are so much better.
Oh, yeah.
The latches and the handles are so much better.
And
to
anybody
manage.
that tells me that the latch is not good, is not as good or Pelican's better is like it's just used Pelicans so long that it's like Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Because
Something,
like
because-
I've had Pelicans like pretty nice and not that old Pelicans. Just latches pop open in the back of a car. Like
I've not had that, but they're just painful if it's full. If whatever you're doing is full and
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah.
sitting on the lid to get it to close,
Yeah.
which happens to me a lot,
yeah.
they're just hateful to open again.
Yeah, no.
Where the Nanook ones, they always open and they always close pretty well.
Yeah.
If you can get it close, they'll cam themselves and
Yeah, no.
it'll work. And I think that maybe that's why I have trouble with.
and I know that I don't know if the Pelican has this. I know some of the knockoffs don't. The 2-stage handles for the
Yeah.
rollers is super nice.
yeah.
yeah.
So like depending on if it's like you're in a crowd and you've got it rolling right beside you, or maybe you got a backpack sitting on top of it, you can control the angle at like kind of how much handle you've got for runway there.
Yeah, and the other nice thing about hard storage that I think we miss is like one, you can bolt through it. So like my 938 case, I'm actually going to line that with Velcro.
Yeah, no. Brandy made me a Velcro liner for the lid of mine.
Yeah.
And instead of having like the crappy organizer, I don't know about the Nooks. I bought a Pelican
And
organizer.
that's a joke.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, honestly, I was a bit disappointed that Pelican would put their name on something like that.
Something so bad.
So I just
it's horrible.
did a grid of our Velcro pouches. And
Yeah.
actually, my fault. The measurements, we're going to make another one a little bit bigger, and it will be perfect. I'll be able to spread the pouches out just a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's the nice thing about hard-sided cases is you can actually line the edges of the top with smaller pouches, which you can kind of organize stuff, and then you can put the bulky stuff
Yeah.
in the middle. That's pretty handy. And then, like I said, our tour duffel is built around the 938
Yeah,
case.
when we went to
because-
Norway,
because
we had
that's
several
what I
of
like.
those. And like we took, when Brandy and I went, when our packing was we had a smaller roller, mine and Nook, with a duffel in it with
Yep.
our stuff. Well, of course, we bought stuff.
Right.
So on the way back, the duffel came out and was a carry-on.
Right. Yeah, that's the same thing we did. Duffel becomes carry-on, and Nook goes back into the belly of the plane and gets shipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we travel like that a lot, where it's just easy to.
Yeah. And the Nanooks don't have 100% straight sides, but they're pretty dang close.
Yeah, they're not bad.
There's just
as
a
far as
slight
that
taper
goes.
to the bottom.
Yeah. Pelicans are probably pretty similar to that as
Yeah.
far as that goes. And some of the Pelican Airs, I think, are pretty straight at this point.
Yeah, I actually used mine in Nook when I flew out to Colorado with the Expo, take it to a trip in the Expo truck, and my buddy Dustin went with me. Like, the truck had stuff, but not everything. So I, took camping gear and clothes in it. And the lid, having the organizer, was super nice. So we'd be in camp and be like, oh, we need utensils. Zip, there they are.
Well, and I think that's where, going back to, decent adhesive two-sided Velcro or sticky Velcro, put that in, even if you just put that in the lid and then just Velcro pouches to it.
Yeah.
I think that's a really handy way to keep your stuff together and I have that in my drawers, like my drawers on my deck drawers. I have a piece of Velcro runs almost the length of one of the drawers on both sides, and it's just high enough that that 4x12s will stand up, and they hit the bottom.
Oh, so they kind of have some support.
So they have some support, and all it's kind of doing is keeping them up on the edges. And 4x6 will it holds partway down in the 4x6, but same thing, it keeps it actually standing.
Yeah.
And that I think that's been really handy as far as dealing with my drawers and hard storage. And again, I can still use the middle. I kind of kit the middle with pouches or dividers or whatever's in that, because it's got a couple different things in it. But the edges, then I run in between my dividers in that drawer, I run pouches along the edges to keep some miscellaneous stuff in it, and clear front pouches so I can see what the heck's in there. Is the other issue.
Yeah, I think that the hard storage, while we have tool bags and stuff like that, for me it's layered, right? Like my always in the truck Zarge case is the example of that. Of I've got these giant jumper cables that you can weld with. Well, I could put them in a packing cube or something like that, but it's really actually nice to have something I can just cram them in, fight it, click it, and then it's
Jim welding rod in there.
I know. I'm just saying.
I know. I was just curious. I mean,
they would be great for welding, extracting information.
Yeah.
From the opposition,
Right.
Yeah, that's why I keep an aluminum camp chair and a kiddie pool in the back of there too.
Yeah. The blow up kiddie pool.
Yeah.
Doesn't take up much room.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes good sense.
Tell me the location of the campsite.
Nothing like a good set of jumper cables and a kiddie pool.
Yeah.
And a road flare.
Yeah.
You should always have a road flare.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah. No. So I think the hard storage thing is pretty interesting, and I think it's got a really viable place.
Yeah.
And I think organizing your hard storage is sort of the next piece. Like, what fits in it, what pouches fit in it, how do you kit that?
Yeah.
Do you leave the middle open and do you put stuff around the edge? Do you put stuff in the lid? And I think there's a lot of options like that people don't even think about. Because having just a pile of crap in the middle of a box,
Right, not helpful.
that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
because then you're digging through stuff. It's like it's like your utensil drawer at home. Or
Right,
ours,
yeah.
where it's just
the bottom becomes the small. It's like panning for gold. Like all the small things go to the bottom. Right.
Right. Where if you can kind of keep those halfway organized to the edges or into the lid, then all of a sudden I'd be interested of what you could do on the lid, even on the Zarge cases, even if you
no. They make some accessories for like lid organizers, but for sure, it's got a support piece in there. I'm sure you could come up with some sort of piece of corrugated Velcro or just stick it to it.
If you took Velcro, back the Velcro, and I bet you could probably drill out rivets for the DIY wire.
Yeah, 100%.
Drill out the rivets and run bolts through it.
Yeah.
And then bolt the panel in there, or bolt a molly panel, a hard molly panel.
So that's something I've thought about with our kitchen box. Eventually I'd like to put some Velcro pouches in the top for small things. So, because it
does it hinge or come completely off?
It hinges, yeah.
Because that would be really slick, like Spice Rack, where literally you could hinge that thing up
and it would be
and have
almost like a Velcro elastic keeper with your spice bottles in there. Yeah.
Even if it's just 4x12 pouches standing up with all that stuff in it, and then you could have knives, utensils kind of Velcroed into that. And you can have all kinds of stuff on that lid where you stand it up and it basically becomes a little kitchen setup.
Yeah, because it keeps
be
our
really slick.
plates,
We
our
need to do
bowls, extra fuel.
We need to get another one of those.
A jet boil, like, because we're gonna have a camp stove, but like I want to have something just coffee, make water hot now. But I was telling Logan too that like I like it for like the things that get crushed easy, like the little cups of like instant mashed potatoes. Those things have a cellophane lid and they're not that tough, so I don't want to put them anywhere else. So those live on top. A loaf of bread can live on top of everything. Yeah, so.
That would be really slick. You should bring that in. We should figure out how to
it's
do
in
that.
The truck.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, spend some time with it and build a lid.
We could make a giant one
piece.
for the one we're about to go get in Manassas.
Right. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, $150. It may just be a desk.
Right.
No joke. Yeah, it's a big.
Yeah.
Yeah. The worst thing is, like, if the lid has a stop on it, you literally could open it up, build a platform for your desk with like 2 removable panels.
Yeah.
And then have the back piece up and have stuff hung off the back piece.
Fly tying takes up a lot of space. This could be my new fly tying, and it's just, what's in it? All the materials,
Yeah, put everything in the bottom.
Yeah.
Have a little table piece that you could lift up 2 or 3 different things to it. Have the fold up piece where you had everything in it. Fold that sucker down. Build some legs for it.
We need a coffee table.
Oh, that would be a great coffee table.
That'd be a baller coffee table. Just a giant Zarges case here in the floor.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
40 by 30 by 20. I mean, that's coffee table size.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say 20.
Yeah,
That's about right.
Yeah.
Especially if this couch were 3 inches higher.
Yeah.
Right now, it's would be keeping your feet elevated.
Because it's
and above
almost 4
park,
feet long, and it's 30 deep and 20 tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
And honestly, you're talking about like the lid. That would be kind of cool to just get like a nice pine top and just through bolt it onto the lid.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to cut this one short because we have a 122-mile drive. That's what I was on my phone earlier. Yeah. No, that's really cool. I'm not kidding. I think maybe we should do that. So, Logan, I kind of want to get your POV on this hard storage because you come from a background where like, I mean, I've heard you talk about flying with like literally
so much stuff.
cases full of just like the giant camera batteries.
Yeah.
Any like obviously trucks are involved, but outside of like our normal like kitchen box truck stuff, traveling nook cases, do you have any tips, tricks, thoughts, feelings?
No, I mean we basically have always used Pelican or Nanook stuff. For years it was only Pelican. Maybe like I want to say maybe one of the companies that makes gimbals, it might have been the Ronin gimbal, shipped in a Nanook case. Like that was the
that was
the first one I used, and I just immediately liked it better than I liked the Pelican stuff for some reason.
Yeah.
So curious because we've talked about this. I do have a Harbor Freight Apache Special.
We have some Apaches.
Like I wouldn't suggest flying with it because the pressure valve is not infallible. I actually shout out to Casey Griffin Pocket Tool. I was in California and landed and got to the hotel and popped the latches on my Apache, and it wouldn't open because the pressure valve had got blocked with something inside. So I had to use my Griffin Pocket Tool pry bar on my keychain to literally break the sill on my Apache case.
Yeah, we've used the Apache stuff for a few
Casey
things.
doesn't listen to the podcast, but go check them out. They can help you get into your luggage if you do everything else wrong.
If you do everything else wrong.
Right now, the only thing, because we still have a couple, the only thing we use them for is we have a bunch of like loose hardware. Like by that I mean like screws and bolts and stuff that are in one of the small ones.
Yeah.
We have some pouches that we have that in, but that's like we keep an Apache for that because who really cares?
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And then we do have one of the like long like rifle cases because we've got the longer lights like this. They're like 4 foot.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do anything much with them though, those like get a latch of some or a lock of some kind, or a bundle of zip ties to zip tie that thing anytime you go to a place. But for that matter, the back of your car, because those come open.
They just
at
open.
times.
Sorry to interrupt, but the logo, the green top logo, is out. I'm not going to name any names, but he goes by Gobi Recon. Called me out on that on the last episode that went live.
Not representing.
He's like, "How dare you put that mug down without the logo out?"
We're sorry, Jimmy. We just want to apologize now if you're listening.
No, I've got a story about Jimmy in a minute anyway. But go ahead.
But the one thing that is just like the nerdy hard storage thing is I've seen some guys do cool stuff with like electronics in those cases.
Yeah.
So I've seen some guys that have their whole AC case in like
Yeah.
a carry-on size.
You showed me a
Pelican,
picture of one of those.
and when they open it, the screen is mounted with the wireless transmitter, and it's like flip it open, turn it on, and your whole like workstation is pre-wired and like just
Yeah.
goes. Which is pretty cool.
You showed me a picture of one of those.
Yeah.
I think maybe just you and I were talking about hard cases, and I was like, that's some like James Bond,
But
like
yeah,
guy
so
in the
some of
chair
that
level
stuff's
stuff.
pretty cool.
Like yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
I've seen charger cases. I've seen like there's such a variety of batteries that I have definitely seen guys that have the big like V mount battery brick in the bottom and then the top with like some kind of like almost Molly style mesh where it's just like actually you know what it looks like is almost pegboard that they've mounted in there and it's just like all of their chargers zip tied into the top so you plug in one cable and everything goes that kind of thing. But yeah, as far as cases, it's almost all because stuff gets hit real heavy, real fast in that world. It's almost all rolling hard cases like
Yeah.
Pelicans.
Oh, even mine are wheeled.
Yeah.
All the ones are wheeled.
That is one thing that I'm always a little torn on the Ninooks is they've got the non-pivoting 2 wheels, and sometimes I look at other like hard luggage that has 4 wheels, you know, or 2 that are pivot, 2 that don't, and I'm like, man, that could be handy.
Do you like that? Lindsay recently got the 4-wheel pivot, and I don't know if I like it.
So yeah, that's me. I know people rave about it, so I'm like, maybe I don't have enough.
You actually
experience.
research wheels on.
Come on, man. You know the kind of stuff I'm into. I've definitely read threads about.
I'm like, there are people that actually that discuss this as the wheels on luggage is a conversation.
That's the weird thing about the internet. Like we've talked about this.
We have jerky that's it's killing me that I'm the one holding it. Somebody else from now on needs to hold the jerky so that I'm not tempted to.
So real quick, we'll talk about the internet and wheels, and then we'll jerky, and then we have one other aside. It's like giving a toddler a popsicle and telling them just to hold it.
Have you seen those tests with little kids where they're like, you know, you can't eat this, like, you know, and then they
Leave the room.
right, yeah, they leave the room, and the ones that like don't eat it end up being like super successful because they can put off. Well, that's not fucking me. I failed that test.
Immediate gratification. Right. Yeah.
If you don't eat this, I'll give you 3 more later.
Yeah. But that's the thing
But
with the
I've
internet,
got
right?
2 now.
There's always it's so much easier to find nerds or weirdos depending on the topic that you're into, and suddenly it's a community
and
of
that you're
weird.
not into.
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, I for sure have seen like 2 inline versus 4 pivoting wheels discussions for hard luggage. Yeah.
Really? Was there like a forum for this?
I think that was probably a Facebook group, maybe a Reddit.
Wheels Finder.
Yeah,
Wheels Finder?
Don't Google that.
Luggage
Yeah.
wheels?
One of the big things is like really nice luggage. It has the pivoting wheels. Usually comes with a repair kit. So if one gets broken off, you can fix. It's like field fixable.
Yeah, that is true.
So before we dive into the jerky segment, beloved listener, green top mug supporter, Jimmy Hyman, friend supporter, Blue Ridge listener, sent me. I think I'm mispronouncing this. Is it Nipix or Nipix?
I'm not positive.
But these handy little, I think they're technically called like water. What is the model number or name? They have a name, but essentially these little channel locks, right? That are, for one thing, really well made. But they have this little button to like expand them out.
The little detent that slides them. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jimmy, I've got to say, since these showed up, they've not been out of my. I've been wearing this vest a lot, vest pocket. But I think they're going to just dethrone my multi-tool, and these are going to go in the bum bag that I bring every day, you know, because like they're infinitely more usable for like plier type things.
Well, the thing is, multi-tools are. I'm not going to use the word scam. Maybe I should. I think multi-tools are sort of a bit of a scam, and there are some probably that aren't. But like, I have a knife, so I don't need the knife and the multi-tool. And they're an okay knife, and they're a marginal screwdriver.
Right, yeah.
And they're a bad set of pliers.
Yeah.
And they're, you know, I mean, like, or they're a marginal set of pliers.
Yeah.
They're
like,
you know,
mine don't have interchangeable cutters, and oh man, the cutters on mine are just marled. I mean, they're chewed up. Yeah. So
I mean, like, it's like, you know, it's kind of like an all-terrain tire. It's not real good in the snow. It's not real good in the mud, and it's not real good in the street. Where, you know, you get a mud tire, snow tire, or road tire. Like, they're good at something. And while I guess you probably end up carrying more stuff, like I have a little mini screwdriver set.
Right, yeah, 100%. I keep I keep 2 tech screwdrivers
Yeah.
that have got some like really tiny specific bits and some general bits
Yeah.
already in there. I
Yeah.
already have a knife.
Right.
I got a bottle opener on my keychain.
Me too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I have a better screwdriver on my keychain than they do on that
Yeah.
because I have
Right.
Casey's.
The Griffin.
Yeah, the Griffin pocket tool. So,
No,
I already
100%,
have like 20% of a multi-tool on my pocket tool that's on my keys all the time.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. We should do an EDC conversation at some point.
Yeah.
Because we
That
have
could
a
be
lot
like a
of
3-part series.
We have a lot of EDC opinions.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And we're not.
But no, shout out to Jimmy. He literally texted me and was like, "Hey, I bought something for my get home bag, and I think you'll like it, so I bought 2." And he actually said, "You're either going to love it or laugh." And I instantly was like, "These are awesome."
So I have the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Like in my toolbox that I got this year for Christmas, and they don't have a little detent, but they're really nice. Like they grab shit better than anything else I've ever had.
No, I was going to say I think I brought this up to you, and but I've got a buddy he's a millwright, professionally, and he has a little pouch on his belt. He keeps like 3 pairs of these for like different purposes. I think he has one that's like the flat jaw for it's like more like a wrench. These and like something else, and he said that half the time when he's working on equipment at the mill, that's what he needs. So. All right, Matt may have a stroke if the jerky segment doesn't start right now. Matt, first off,
I'm not gonna have a stroke. I just started without you.
shout out to once again Sam, Matt's middle daughter, for the jerky subscription because she is making sure we continue the segment. What do we got on this week's episode? Give us the deets on this one.
This is damn good beef jerky. It is made in the USA. They put that very proudly. It is from Stillwater, New York. This is barbecue. 18 grams of protein.
Barbecue is a bold choice for a jerky flavor, though.
I know. It is. High protein, no nitrates, no MSG added. Is there natural MSG in beef jerky?
I don't think MSG is natural, so I think
I think that means no MSG would have done.
Yeah.
Well, but added would make you believe that there's MSG someplace in this process.
That's how they kill the cow. They just drown it in MSG.
Right. or if natural smoke flavor shouldn't have MSG. I'm not even sure what MSG is for that matter, but
Monosodium glutamate.
Yep. All right.
beef top round, barbecue sauce, tomato paste, water, high fructose corn syrup, molasses, vinegar, less than 2% spice, natural hickory smoke flavor. I'm reading the ingredients.
This is
Food starch, salt, gum, something or other, something I can't say, something I can't read. Dried onions, dry garlic, caramel color. I mean, there's at least no red number 45, 27, or 14 in here. I don't know how many red numbers there
I
are.
will say this, surprisingly enough, the teriyaki from last episode beats this out on flavor pretty
handily.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a little too squishy for me.
Yeah. This was like 80% of like, because for me the pinnacle of like texture is mingua. Like
Right. Moisture content's too high.
yeah, this is like 80% there. Like
Almost sticky. Like I bet you could hang photos with it.
like those
you can
sticky
rip it
hands
off.
you got out of the machine. If you had a
Right,
long enough
yeah.
piece, you could slap it to the wall.
I hate all of that. I hate all of that.
And it's not particularly flavorful. Like and I think I just
I'm
hit
not positive, but I think I got a piece of gum in with it.
no, I think
Yep, no.
I don't.
That's why it was that.
I don't. That's why it's so sticky. Because there's spearmint involved. Man, this barbecue tastes like wintergreen. This is that weird.
Well, it wasn't much flavor left, so I hadn't even thought about it. And then I was like, that's a weird chewy.
Matt Fez as a restaurant reviewer because he's like, it all tasted like juicy fruit. And then he publishes his review. Oh, no. Yeah. It's not bad, but coming off the gourmet, which was the brand, the damn good is definitely second
Was it
fiddle.
gourmet? It wasn't gourmet, was it?
Yeah.
Is that really what it's called?
Yeah.
The gourmet jerky or something like that.
Yeah, gourmet jerky. Yeah, this doesn't have a ton of flavor. Like it for sure, it could use some MSG.
Yeah. Not my favorite.
And it also should have been left in the dehydrator like 20%
long
more.
one?
I don't know
Oh.
how long they did, but 20% more would have done it wonders.
Maybe 80. I like mine pretty dry.
Yeah,
But it is lunchtime. I'm really hungry, so
samesies. Yep.
I mean that's the one great thing about beef jerky. I've not really found any that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't eat this.
Right. I mean, yeah, I would probably eat some pretty questionable dried meat products before I would like get to like, well, I'm not.
It's like summer sausage. I mean, like I'll fight my way through some pretty ugly summer sausages if I need to. And
Wait. I think you probably need a bit of a qualifier because I do remember in recent history, there was a time that you had the opportunity to have a dried meat product and you passed on a podcast episode on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. And I actually thought it was pretty delicious.
No, I never said dried meat.
So yeah, that wasn't the best beef jerky I've ever had. And we don't know exactly. Matt was talking about how you could eat almost any beef jerky / summer sausage. I did remind him he had a chance to try some delicious dried fish, air dried in Norway, traditional. And it didn't look like much, but it tasted like a delicious battered fish fillet, which isn't Matt's forte anyway, so he may not like that.
None of that sounds good to me.
But like if I could have brought it back on the plane without a $14,000 fine, I would have.
Do you like smoked salmon? You don't do fish, right?
No, get in the water, get in the food chain. Not my thing.
Smoked salmon.
That's the cool thing
is
about
tasty.
smoked salmon. It's at the grocery store, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The thing is you don't get in the water, you get them out of the water.
Yeah.
So
Can I
I
tell you a
have
quick
no-
story about smoked salmon?
Yes.
So Brandy and I, our first apartment when we were married, first apartment was really close to my work. I went home for lunch. She was at the animal hospital where she was the office manager at the time. And
Were they smoking salmon?
no. And it was right after Christmas. This was like January first week. We had been given some smoked salmon, okay? And as I walk in the door, I hear this tiny meow. And there was like this, it could have sat on an iPhone kitten behind the trash can. Now, this apartment was like surrounded by woods, and then there's a highway. So it was like, wow, I don't know how you got here, but like he wouldn't come out from behind this big stone trash can. Like you couldn't move him. It had a trash can inside this like rock thing. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get this cat out. So I go in the apartment. I was like, what do we have? Well, he was like, fish. Cats love fish, right? So I start putting little pieces of smoked salmon, and he like comes out. I finally get him. Hey, babe, bring this kitten. It was at the apartment. Yeah, bring him over to the hospital. So I take him, get back. We both get back home
they
in the
run tests on
afternoon.
him?
And she was like, man, that cat was sick. He was just like crapping his brains out. She's like, he must eat something bad. I was like, well, I gave him some smoked salmon to get him out from behind the trash can. She's like, well, how much? And I was like, half the fillet. Now, mind you, this cat was this big.
Big as a teacup, yeah.
Yeah. And I had just
So you tried to kill him with smoked salmon?
I just gorged him with smoked salmon. I got him to the animal hospital, and they said he was just like, oh no. 5 minutes later, oh no. And he's a kitten, so he doesn't know how to take care of the situation. So his little kennel was just like, it was a war crime. Yeah.
So work.
They assumed he had like eat something dead. I was like, no, he ate about half a pack of
Well, it was dead.
gifted smoked salmon. Yeah.
All right, we should probably wrap up
Thanks-
this episode of the
Made It to the End Club. Thanks. You really held out there.
Overland Bonfire.
The Overland Bonfire.
Overland Bonfire.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to forget to call it next time. Unless someone
Yeah.
reminds us.
Yeah. We'll see you in 2 weeks.